Hey, welcome to the channel. So, any of you guys been following me, I have mentioned probably I'm guilty of over the last year of doing a review on the RV. And so today's the day. We're going to take it out next week for a couple of days at Emerald Isle. And I think I'll bring you along with me with that trip for a little bit. It may not be a lot of talking, may just be some scenes or some beach scenes and just different things. I'll just film the whole 3-day weekend and just piece it together in a video and just bring y'all along with us. So what I purchased was a Forest River Cherokee 26 dBH. So what I thought I'd do is just tell you about the few things I have found over it in the last year, the things that I fixed and opted not to take it back to the service center and fixed it myself. But first of all, I have a Ram 1500 crew cab, 2-wheel drive, 355 gear on the rear end, rear axle. The towing capacity is 8,970 pounds, and it's a 2015 model. I know 2016, 17s, 18s, they're a little more, but my particular one is 8,000. I think it's 970 pounds. And I feel like I'm pulling this, I'm probably, by the time I'm loaded up, I'm probably running 80% of what that truck wants to do. I know I'm running about 90% on the payload because you got to take in the factor of the tongue weight of the trailer. So overall, I'm running 80-85% of what the truck is spec'd out to do. Now, it handles it fine. I don't try to go down the interstate at 70 miles an hour. If it's 65 zone, I do 65. If it's a 70 zone, I try to do a little over 65, but I don't really worry about if I'm not holding 270, to be honest with you. I do have a weight distribution hitch. I have an Equalizer Hitch, rated actually for a 12,000 pound trailer because their hitches are in different steps. And it's rated for 12,000 pound trailer. And I have it, I had it to sway a little bit one time on a tractor trailer truck, but outside of that, nothing really. So, we'll get away from that. Let's get to the actual RV itself. I had just a little background. I had a hybrid, and it had fiberglass sides. And just me, I wanted to get away from fiberglass. I wanted to get to aluminum siding. I feel like the fiberglass, to me, I feel like the sun delaminates it pretty quick. And so I wanted to get away from it. Matter of fact, the front of my hybrid, because they all kind of slant in like this because the bed comes out, it had started delaminating a little bit. And I told my wife, I said, we need to get out of this. Of course, we wanted a bigger one too. We wanted a super slide, which I'll show you in a minute. So we'll start from the outside. So we have a little bit of storage here, and as we go, when I see stuff that I had to address, I'll point it out to you. So this storage here on this particular model is not pass-through. So it goes in to where the hot water heater is, and that's a little tricky too. The only way you can access the valves from the factory on this model, by the way, is a 2020 model. So let me get that straight, 2020 model. It's through here. So you have to crawl all the way in there and cut the valves on and off for the hot water heater if you want to bypass it for the winterizing the RV. Now, I did cut a hole in my closet thinking that I could reach down from my closet because it's above the hot water heater, but it really didn't work that great. So I still end up going through the pass-through. So we have little clips. I think some of the newer models have magnets. Fiberglass door, no window. Again, it's 2020 model, so no window. We have a mini outdoor kitchen. Now, a couple things I noticed about, and I wanted to show you guys. Useless. This is totally useless, guys. I have not hooked it up. If you put a pan here, the residual heat from that pan is going to burn these two knobs off of it. you might could get away with a small chili pan right here. If you was gonna heat some hot dog chili or something real small here, I wouldn't let the footprint be no more than that around, and that might be enough not to residual heat this knob right here. Now I thought, well, can I pull this out and put my Blackstone in? I may could. I've seen pictures of that, but I'm afraid there again, with the Blackstone being right here, how much splatter am I going to get on the refrigerator and the ice maker? So right now, I just use it. Got a few spices stored in it, stuff like that, and that's kind of what I've been using it for right now. We'll figure out something. It may be something I can drop in here later on that'll be a little more user friendly. This refrigerator here is just like a college dorm refrigerator. It will not work till you get to shore power. When I say shore power, that means to the campground, hooked up to their power. So when you get to the campground, you hooked up to their power, then you can turn this one on. And it keeps drinks cool. It's just like any other college refrigerator. This ice maker here, same way. It comes screwed down, little sheet metal screws here, and that ice maker is actually sitting about right there. Now I unscrewed it so I could take it out and dump it out and get all the water out. They both plug in right here, right behind my hand is a plug, and Will may not be able to get to it, but it's right here. I got my hand on it. And so they both plug in, and what I do is I just unplug them until I get hooked up to shore power and go from there. I haven't used this. This is it's a spigot, and I guess theoretically you could wash stuff out in this tray if you wanted to with it, but I haven't chose to go that route. So no quarters here. I like it. It's okay. I'd like to have a better use for something for this. Maybe we can make some drawers, put grilling utensils in. So we come to the outdoor speakers and an outdoor TV hanger, which you would actually end up, that's power, you'd end up hooking in one of these. That's video output from the DVD player inside, and that's cable that you can hook the TV up out here. That's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I personally, I don't do it. And it's funny, I mean, I got a background in TV like crazy. I worked for DirecTV for about 12 years, so I mean, I could have all the TV I want, but I just, when we're camping, I don't worry about that. So another speaker, and I've seen on a lot of web pages how these speakers, yes, they're not that great. You can't turn them up that loud. For me, I like them, because most time I'm not going to blast the campground out anyway. I mean, your neighbor's 10 foot from you, so I mean they're plenty loud enough for what you want there. Tires and wheels. These are the radials that you hear. I think everybody calls them China bombs. So far I haven't had any problem with mine. You know, hope and pray I don't, and maybe in a couple of years I'd like to get maybe an aluminum wheel and step up to a 15-inch wheel. That's a 14. We got the, in which we'll let it out in a minute, we got the awning, in which it has some blue lights, and I'll show you. The black tank flush is on this side. For me, this black tank flush is good, but for me it's not an end-all. I still have a wand when I get home. As you can see, guys, I live, you know, in the country. I still have a wand when I get home. After I flushed it at the campground, and before I put it up for the winter, I put that wand down in there and I flush that tank again with the wand. I mean, it does good, but I just want to make sure. So the back door has the normal steps. Go back up to the front door wheel. The front door has the, I don't know what they call them, but they don't move. They're stable, and it doesn't shake the camper when you get on the steps. So the back door on this 2020 has the normal steps that will move the camper. As you can see, the camper's moving, getting in and out. And here we get to one problem that I found. So the problem I had found from the factory, I bought it new last year and I only used it twice last year, Will, was this deadbolt right here was actually hitting the bottom of this. Now you have travel this way, but you don't have no more travel this way. So actually for the job I have now, I cut in electronic door locks. So I was able to take some of my tools and shave the bottom of this lock off, and now it locks fine. Again, that's something I just didn't, I have no bones or no fight with the with the RV place, but I just soon do it myself. I didn't want nobody else messing with the door. This commode is the factory commode. Now why do I mention that? On the internet, there's been a lot of talk of, well, hey, if this is a Dometic commode, they'll replace it because they had a problem. They did actually replace it. I called and they said, yeah, we'll send you out a new one. So they sent me a new one, which is still in the box in the shed, because this one hasn't done what they said the problem was, which was something about leaking back into the bowl and just sitting there in the bowl and not going down in the black tank and obviously smelling up your RV. I haven't had that problem, so that's still the factory one, and we'll leave the other one in the box in case we ever need it. Back up here real quick. There's a sticker that goes on top of this jack. Why don't you see it? Well, I had to paint the jack already. The paint was peeling all around here, just flaked right off. Matter of fact, there's a chip of it right there. And so I've had to paint this jack again already. A little disappointing that. I've only had it one full year, and went to the beach twice, and both times as soon as this thing got pulled in the yard, it was washed off from the salt air and everything like that. But still, just not a very good paint job on the jacks. But thank goodness that's something that if it did rust to death, you can replace the jack. So come around here. Again, I like the aluminum siding. I'm really, that's what I want, was aluminum siding. It, you know, we all know aluminum doesn't rust. It would fade, but it won't rust or peel. Aluminum on the back. Now here's something from the factory. Again, I chose to fix. This whole back piece right here, this bottom piece of aluminum lips under, and they staple it to probably, I'm guessing, some sort of plywood just running down, and they staple it on the bottom. And Will, you get up under the middle there, right over here, and I'll get up under here, and you should be able to see where I ran these screws in, because the staple fell out and this whole piece was pulled forward, and I ran these self-tapping screws in, and we fixed that problem. So that was another problem that I fixed. That I chose not to take it back to the factory. So this model also has this tailgate, and well, as you can see, it lets down for maybe bikes, maybe a cooler, and you're actually supposed to put these back in, guys. I'll just do it like that so y'all can see it. You're not supposed to carry it with the spare on there if you're going to let it down. So if you're going to let it down and you're going to go down the road with it, there we go, you're going to go down the road with it, put your cooler here, firewood here. That tire is supposed to be on here too. It's not supposed to be like this. Now I've seen people go down the road with them like that. That's up to you. I personally, I let it down at the campground, and I put a clothes rack, one of those clothes racks that when you let it out, it just kind of does this, and I set it there and I wire tie the feet to this, and we put our clothes on it. I don't much, I'll be honest with you, I don't, that's a lot of weight for me. I don't have enough trust in some of this stuff, how much it's been welded, and so I don't carry nothing on it. Now, just like every other RV on the market, I store my black tank hoses here for the septic. They're in the bumper. Back here we have a little storage. And here is where most time I keep the operational side of the RV. When I say operational, I mean the power cords, some wheel chocks. I do keep a few camping items, Coleman fuel, and maybe, you know, Coleman stuff. But it is also, and you stick your camera right in there, Will, that's also where you would do the winterizing at. That's where your pump is, if you're going to pump from your freshwater tank, and that's where you would pump out of a gallon jug to winterize the thing. So all that's done from here. All your hookups for your sewers here, black water, gray water, they're all here. The 15-inch tires that I want to put on here would get this up a little bit higher, because some crap RV parks you go to, I mean, the stub they have for the septic is this high, so you don't have but just a little bit of fall. So there's not a lot of fall on this thing, and you got to kind of be careful how you run your septic hose. We have an outdoor shower here. A lot of RVs have that, and that's just, again, one of those wands that are like on the front side. They call this city water connection, and basically that's just, you know, wherever you go to your campground, what have you, you want to have one of those. Freshwater connection here on this one, and that's to fill up your freshwater tank. Forgive me guys, I do not know off the top of my head mine. I want to say 46 gallons. I could be wrong. Most of the time, and here's one of those preference things again, let's just say it is 46 gallons and I'm right. I don't want to go up the road with 46 gallons of water. I'll put about 15 gallons in it, enough to flush, do whatever on the road, and that's about all I put in here. Now I do keep what I call maintenance on my freshwater tank. So in other words, I don't just say, okay, since I'm not going to use it, I'm just not going to mess with it. No, once a year I put about a cup of Clorox in it and fill it up and let it sit for a little bit, and then drain it out 2 or 3 times with fresh water, just to kind of make sure there's nothing growing in my freshwater tank, because I never know when I might want to go off-grid camping, or they call it boondock camping, and I need that freshwater tank. So I keep maintenance on it, but most time at the RV park I just use the fresh water and we just let it go at that. Just wanted to point this out with the fresh water real quick. I do get you a neck like that so your garden hose is not pinched off when you do hook up to the freshwater hose. Little neck, and most time a surge, and where I put this surge at most of the time is down on the ground, but this is so you don't surge your plumbing inside here. Another little thing real quick while we're back here, I used to worry to death we'd be at the RV park and we'd want to go somewhere. Most time we go to Emerald, North Carolina, so maybe we want to go down to Wilmington or something to see the battleship, and I'd worry to death if a thunderstorm's coming up, knowing that this thing's hooked up to their stuff. And I do sleep a little better with this, knowing that if I do get into a thunderstorm, a lot of lightning and stuff, I'm a little bit better protected. I'm not going to say every surge protector will protect every piece of lightning, because I just don't think it will, but you got a better chance with it. They're kind of pricey if you get a real good one. They're 60, 70, 80 bucks, but I got that one, I think is off of eBay. So here is the 30 amp connection, so when you do get to the RV park, that's what you'd hook up to there. And yes, I do have this adapter, so when I'm at home I can just run the power off of that while I'm at home. Super slides here. You'll want to keep the seals on this slide once a year. 3M, no, it may be 3M. Anyway, they make a slide lube that you can buy, and I bought it off of Amazon before, and it's a slide lube for the seals, and you just want to spray it on there and wipe them down good once a year. Keep these things soft. seals, whether it's on this RV, whether it's on your house, whether it's on your car, window seals and door jamb seals and all that good stuff, what kills them is dry rotting, is old age without anything put on them at all. So keep those things lubed up. So we do have a cable connection here, and it's just what we in the industry used to call just a plain barrel connector. You want to try to keep a cap on it if you can. I can tell you from the TV industry, the inside that thing has two real little pieces of metal that pinch down on the cord when you put it in there, and that's where you lose a lot of connection, get a lot of grainy signals. So keep a cap on it, so keep some of that weather out of it. Hot water tank. So the hot water tank here is going to run off of either gas or electricity. I like getting it started on gas and letting it heat up the first tank on gas, and then I'll come out here and turn it on with electricity. Right here's the electricity. This is the only way that you can cut the electricity on this hot water heater, is right here. The button inside that I'll show you is for turning the gas on. This one is for turning the electricity on. So until you physically walk out here and turn that on, it's going to run off of gas. I like the gas better, it's quicker, gets a lot hotter. I run the electricity sometimes, maybe once a camping season, because quite frankly I don't want to burn the element out. I'm sure it's easily burned out. And see there, guys, I just see something now. This screw right here is loose. I just see that. So we'll put that back down and get that tightened up. It's loose on both sides. Unless you're prepared to do a few things yourself to any RV, outside of maybe an Airstream, and maybe even Airstreams do it, unless you're prepared to do a couple of little things by yourself, you will forever be carrying it back to the RV dealer. I mean, because you're going to find stuff like that. A couple things inside I'll show you. You're always going to find something. So we'll come around here. We got a battery here. And be honest with you, the first thing I did, I took the jinky little plastic strap that came with it, I took it, I tossed it in the trash, and went and bought this metal strap, put it on it. I think it was about 7, 8, 9 foot long. I cut it off, took a lighter, burnt the ends on it. Now we use that strap. We got 2 tanks on here. And this is what I do, guys. It's up to y'all what you want to do. So I can choose either side. I can either choose, see this arrow right here? I can either choose the right side, or I can choose the left side over here. On there now. So I'm gonna tell you what I did. This arrow's over here now. It goes under. I was thinking it went over. So this arrow going over to here, back to here, but it's a under. So yeah, we dodged a bullet on that one. I almost boogered that up. So we're back good now. So I just have to remember, this is an under deal. Switching back and forth. So what I was getting at, I'm right-handed. I always have it on the right-hand tank. And that way I always have a tank that I know is full. So I keep refilling this tank because I always have it there. And sometimes I'll run it on the left just to run the left. But right now it's on the right tank. And that's what we'll do there. Kind of feel dumb not knowing that thing's up top. But she's good now. She's on there. She snapped back in place. And it probably wouldn't hurt to do a sniff test on that thing every now and then, just to make sure. So, alright, now that we discovered that it goes down instead of up, here's part of the Equalizer Hitch system. I can tell you I did install it myself. I read up on it, and it's, you know, 21 inches from the ball. And if any of you guys like, I can make a video on putting that Equalizer Hitch on your truck and on your trailer. But anyway, the Equalizer Hitch system, it does have an automatic jack. Raises up with electricity, but we do have, if you ain't got no power or the motor burns out, you do have a nut in there that you can put a socket on and raise that thing up. The front, and this is what scared me about these RVs, and this is what I didn't realize, is, and we waited for the sun to go down a little bit, guys, because the sun hits this and it was just a bad camera angle, so it's getting a little bit darker, but we're fixing to go in anyway. I thought this was fiberglass. I thought it was a fiberglass front because it didn't have the, you know, the aluminum corrugated looking side, but it's aluminum. It's just flat sheet metal aluminum, and so that made me happy there. We have the I call it imitation diamond tread, because to me diamond tread's made out of solid aluminum or steel, but this is a plastic guard that's made to look like diamond tread to help with rocks and stuff hitting your RV. And I'm sure it's better than nothing at all. I'm not making fun of it, I'm just saying I call it imitation diamond tread. So that's all the way around. So we'll open her up here, and I haven't done any particular cleaning in here, guys. So we'll come up here, we'll hit this main. The main cut all the lights on. Now, right now, guys, I do not have this thing hooked up to any power whatsoever. So it does have one of the little solar charging packs on it. I had it in storage, which storage for me is in my yard with an Adco cover on it all winter. So it had the Adco cover on it all winter. And by the way, let me say this, the cover's a good cover, held up good, fit good. It fit for this RV. I think I got it a foot bigger than what this RV was built. So this RV's built, I think, 29 feet. Well, I measured it. It was 29 feet from, you don't want to go from tongue with these covers. You want to go to the actual body of the RV. And I got, I think, 30 feet. It covered it fine. Stayed on there fine. But there are a couple of things. I'm going to have to order a patch kit and fix a couple of holes. I let a pool noodle come off my gutter, and you can see the gutters stick out quite a bit. That gutter poked a hole in it. So the gutter poked a hole in it, so that's one hole. Two other holes came up with the solar array. It's a little square solar array, and it poked some holes in it because it's got real sharp corners. So I need to put something on that when I put the cover back on it. But other than that, the Adco was a great cover. Kept it dry. And when I say dry, if it let anything pass through the cover the way it is, it dries out and it breathes and the air gets in behind there. I didn't see any mold or anything. So we were good there. All right, so we cut the main lights on the switch. We're gonna let this slide out. This is what they say on the slide in or out. Hold the button till it's fully extended or fully retracted. They said you don't want to make a habit of stopping in the middle of the rotation, so we're going to go totally out. This is kind of like one of those Jeopardy things. And it's almost there. So we're going to hold it for another second or so after it gets fully extended. Now let off. So that let the slide all the way out. We're going to let a little light in here. This has got what they call the zebra blinds. It's where you can let light through or have it dark. So we'll let a little light through. On the inside here, so I'll show you the awning here. Awning, retract, extend, so we want to extend it out. And again, guys, I'm running off the battery. So what I wanted to tell you about the battery, and I got off on the cover. While that's extending out, I'll tell you. So the cover was on it all winter, and when I took it off, I looked at the little meter in here and it said 11.9 volts. So I looked in here earlier today. It's been sitting out here couple days without the cover. That's enough right there. I actually like coming back just a shot. And it had 13 volts, so it did trickle charge back up to 13. I thought it was pretty cool that it had 11.9 volts. Now, what you see here with the solar pack, right now it's reading 12.4. Now, that may be because I just let the slide out and the on-and out, so it may need to recover some. But you can cut this thing completely off, as which I did in the winter. So I disconnected everything. And then, of course, you can cut it back on with this disconnect. Now, once I cut it on, I won't cut this thing off again until I bring it home and I'm done with it for a month or ever how long it is before I use it again. You can have it still on in the on position while you're hooked up to Shore Power. You're not hurting anything. I did call a pretty reputable guy on YouTube. I say called him. I left him a message and he answered me. He's got a real great, it's Haylett RV, H-A-L-E-T-T, I think. You guys have probably seen it. Super smart guy, and he told me yes, it's okay to leave this thing on while you're hooked up to Shore Power. So anyway, that's that. So let's start in the kitchen here. The 26 dBH has the farmer's sink, is what everybody likes to call it. And I'm gonna turn the water pump on, guys. It's over here, water heater, water pump. So the water pump's on, and you can see we got the water pump on the RV itself. To me, has quite a good pressure on it. A lot of times I'll get to the RV park, and the RV park's more like that, just kind of barely coming out, where that's your pump. So anyway, you can see that a lot. So it has a little stove. The burners are up under here, and it's a little 3-burner gas stove, and this will fold completely back out of your way. I seen a picture of one of these glass broke where somebody had folded it back, so you probably want to be careful there. Microwave up top, exhaust fan, a light for down here, which we'll leave that on so you can see. I choose, guys, I use some plastic stuff. It's just lighter, and when you're traveling and stuff, it's not so hard on the RV. This refrigerator is not a gas electric combo refrigerator. It is actually 12 volt DC. It makes for a bigger refrigerator. I do have a thermometer in here to kind of keep it. I have not cut it on yet this year. I have it off. It cuts on via turning that clockwise, and I actually have a piece of tape on the light because I don't want the light burning either, because the way I store it, they give you this little bracket right here that you squeeze, and it comes out, and it pushes, you squeeze it and it pushes back in there, and it holds the refrigerator door open in the winter. So now it holds it, got a little gap on it. It lets air circulate in there. So while we're standing here, one of the things, again, would have surely taken this thing back to the RV dealer was this whole return vent for the heating and AC system. It literally was installed like that. I mean, literally. So we took all of them out, straightened it up, put the screws back in. So again, that's one of those things I wouldn't have took it all the way back to the dealer just for them to take the screws out, straighten it up, put the screws back in. That's why I was saying some things, you know, I can't work on the refrigerator, I can't work on the air conditioning, but little things like that I'm going to do. Let's get to the closet. I don't want to get too long with this video. I know I've probably been long enough already. So we got some pantry room here. We have storage under the seats. Most of the time, whoever's staying in these double bunks right here, these double bunks, most of the time I say, okay guys, y'all split this drawer right here. This is where you're going to keep your clothes. And then the pantry top shelf is for towels for the showers, and then this shelf is for food. And of course you can see some food here down at the bottom, or shoes or what have you. It's plenty of storage there. We don't actually fill it up when we go somewhere. All right, we were at this drawer right here, which is where I keep my pots and pans. And my cameraman said, hey, your phone's getting super hot. So we switched phones. I just keep some pots and pans there. And I'm gonna make this a little quicker because he told me we was in 35 minutes already. So your bunks here, your heating and air conditioning controls here, your bathroom here, which you guys seen from the outside, with the vanity, sink here, and hey, look, oh, it locks. That's the first time it did that. And so we put, oh, the bathroom light, just want to point this out on this model, has a motion detector light, and that's all great and dandy until you're by yourself in there taking a shower and the light goes out and you got to stick your hand out to get the motion to come back on. So I just got a simple TV here that I use. I put it on the bed as we're traveling. I just put it face down on the bed when we're traveling, and we just use whatever cables left. And Will, you go around that way. And back here, the queen bed, closet storage area. That is the hole I made for the hot water heater, but like I said, guys, don't waste your time because it's at a bad angle and you still can't get your arm in there. The hole actually needs to be under the mattress here, and by the time I did that, honestly, I just soon crawl up under there to move this mattress out of the way to get to the hot water heater. So having said that, and your storage up here, you do have outlets all over for cell phones, USB outlets. This one right here hasn't worked from when I got it from the factory. That's something I haven't really addressed it yet, but the two USB outlets on top of it right here hasn't worked. But outside of that, this is my 26 DBH Grey Wolf, and hopefully maybe something I've said will help some of you guys. If you got any questions or comments, please subscribe. If you're watching my channel for the first time because of the RV, I do a lot with my tractor, and we'd appreciate if you join us and subscribe and just kind of go along with us. Thank y'all.